Here's something I designed for the Disobey 2020 Hacker/Security Conference. It's essentially a mock-up video conferencing terminal, kind of like the one that you would see in Blade Runner. The theme of the conference was Cyberpunk 2020, so we needed to have something that would fit the bill. Originally, we looked at the Cyberpunk 2020 core books, and there is a public access terminal there. But then when we looked at the proportions and the fact that we'd have to make more than one, we realized that it's not logistically possible for us to make that. So instead, we made this. Now, why would you need one of these things in a conference? Most of the people in the security world are pretty introverted, so they usually need a little bit of pushing to get them to socialize. So what we made is a game that involves using these. All of the participants would use their badge that they got when they got into the conference with this device to get clues on how to progress. And if you don't know what badges are, these things are badges. They're essentially an electronic thingy that acts as your ticket to the event, and is far fancier than just a plastic piece of paper that's just the event name. So there are several different badges, and in my case, some of these badges are missing components. That's because most of them are prototypes. So the fixer on the left is the organizer badge, and you would get those if you were one of the organizers of the event. Then we have Netrunner, and you could only get one of those if you managed to get through the hacking challenge before the event, and they were a little bit cheaper than the normal attendee badge. Then we have a rocker. Rocker would be only given to those people who were either an artist making some of the art at the event or one of the speakers at the event. Then we get to the most common badge, the red techie badge. This was the normal attendee badge, and you would need 2 of these to be able to use the terminals correctly. And finally, we get to the corporate badge, which was the sponsor badge. So if you were a sponsor, you could get one of these. And then we have one more badge. And that badge is the Badge Team Secret Badger Badge. It's essentially the same as any of the other badges, with the little exception is that there's a lot of typos and it's a little bit smaller. All of the functionality is the same as any of the other ones. But yeah, that's all the badges. And now let's get to the rest of the terminal stuff and how the badges were used with the terminal. So there were 4 different kinds of lanyards that you would randomly get. And if you found 4 other people with 4 different kinds, you could then line them up and get this picture. On the other side of the lanyard, you would then find a bunch of numbers, and they would line up correctly when the picture is correct. And with that, you would get your first hint on how to use the terminals. Pause now if you want to solve it yourself, otherwise we'll continue. The cipher is pretty simple. It's just turning your alphabet into numbers. So the first alphabet A is the number 1, and 0 is a space. So we get use a terminal, bring a friend. So get 2 of the normal badge types, and then get someone special to attend. So the third person needs to have a special badge and not the normal attendee badge. And the rest just tells you that you need to have a team size of 3. So 2 normal badges and any one of the other ones. To connect yourself to the terminal, you would use this hacked video conferencing card. It would have some cables dangling from it. Here's a picture of how that looked like. And if you had the correct combination, you would get one of these screens. If you got the wrong combination, you would get a essentially could not complete a call screen. So in the top left corner, you have a username at acompany.koostotele.com. Koosto Telecom is the fictional company that made these terminals, and it's like AT&T except more incompetent. In the middle of the screen, we can see the password for the user, which is a base 56 string, so that you don't get those annoying characters that look like each other. Here is the boot up sequence of the terminal. Since this is a hacker conference, we figured that someone would unplug it and replug it. so that it would display its boot up sequence. So we had to obscure that. For some reason it goes sideways in the beginning of the boot, but fixes itself once it reaches desktop. However, I did not have enough time to fix the skewed picture, so I just left it like that. The number keypad in this thing is an actual keyboard made by a friend of mine, Heikki Juva, and it actually works. And he had to put in an Easter egg, so if we punch in a certain number, we get some interesting things that happen. If you recognize this particular number, please comment down below. And here is the same thing from another angle, where you can see the entire terminal. But you're thinking to yourself, Purkka, yeah, that's all cool and stuff, but how do I get one of my own? Well, you essentially have two choices. You can either commission me to make you one and pay me a bunch of money, or you can go to the video description and download the printable files and make it yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have this time. I'll include some more B-roll after this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.